So we are continuing with our interview with Madhusudan, and you were telling us about your field, your specific field of
It's the only
healing.
field of medicine I find that is truly 100% Shobindo's integral yoga because it takes everything into account. And it is very important because medicine is too specific. So you have a heart problem, the cardiologist is looking at the heart, but perhaps the origin and the cause of this problem could be a hormonal problem, or it might be a problem of the spirit. The person is not happy. Like I was so sick as a child because I was not with the mother. So you can treat me with all antibiotics and everything, but it won't solve. So they, you, the doctor looks into your ear, but he doesn't see that there is a melanoma growing here because he's so specialized. And with this psychoneuroendocrine immunology is a science which most of my colleagues are only practicing or using in laboratories for experiments. And I said, no, I want to use it for working with patients. And I have incredible success. And mother told me, my child, you will see what you can do. And we can transmit all this what we have learned from mother and Shobindo through our work, through our actions. And that's why I never talk about mother and Shobindo. I give, people have asked me who come to the ashram regularly from Italy, they call me through Maurice from Berlin, where I had my practice, to come to Turin to meet them because Maurice told them about me. So I went there for 4 days to meet these friends of Maurice. They all come here, Italians, and since Maurice speaks fluent Italian, they all know Maurice, and Maurice is loved all over the world. Maurice is universal love.
Yes,
Please remember
yes,
this.
indeed.
Maurice is an exceptional child of the mother. He's universal love. Everybody loves him. And he loves everybody. Now, is that not Shobindo's smile? Is that not mother's love? That is something fantastic about. Well, I love him very much. He has seen the bad side of me, poor fellow. He knows me. He knows my temper. And I don't speak. So they asked me that 4 days is not enough. Now we need to see you for medical reasons, consultations and so on and so forth. So I started going once a month for a weekend, and then it became 5 days a month, and then it became 6 days a month, then it becomes twice a month. Then finally I opened a practice there.
Oh,
And so I had a practice in Berlin, I had a practice in Turin, and then eventually we decided to move to Sardinia. And I opened a practice there and Turin, and then decided to vacate Berlin altogether and leave Germany. So I was there for about 13, 14 years now in Italy. And only about a year ago we went back to Germany because my wife is German and she wanted to go back home in her retirement years. And she's my age, so we are in Dresden. But these people they created a center called Centro Mira, Center for Mind, Body, Soul, and Medicine, and Materia. Mente, Corpo, Anima, e Materia. Centro, spiritual center. And they call it Centro Mira based on Shrima. But I told them, look, you have to read Mother and Shobindo's books. They are translated in Italian, they're in English, they're in French. I cannot teach you what they have taught. I don't want to, I can't, I don't have the ability, I don't have the capacity, I'm not competent. It's you people who have read them, studied them. You can, but I can't, and I don't want to. And I never felt the need to be a master, and these people wanted me to be a master. And I said, look, I'm master over myself, and I want you to become master over yourself. And this mother had also told me, empower your patients. And this is what I do. I awake in my patients their own ability to build up, to strengthen the immune system and their total health by awakening their consciousness. And I'm talking not of mental consciousness or mind, brain consciousness, but I'm talking about this inner consciousness, what perhaps Sri Aurobindo calls the psychic consciousness, of becoming aware that they are not this body, that they are living in this body, that they are the spirit, that they are the soul. And what soul is, I tell them the soul is life energy. And it is not when you die that the soul goes to God, but it's when the soul goes to God, your body dies because there's no life in it, no energy in it. So you are that energy that is eternal. And if you become that energy, just like if I see that my shirt is dirty, I take it off and I put it away for washing and put on another. You do that with your body, that if your body is unhealthy, you wash it. Or dirty, you wash it. If your body is unhealthy, you cure it. Because you are the soul. And it's your body, it's your property. It is your material possession in which you live. But people forget and they consider themselves physical body and say, I am sick. I said, no, your body has a problem. You know, you're not. And so my colleagues put a lot of attention on the pathology, which is biological, the illness. It's the body. And so they're much more concerned with the illness and the pathology, but they're not concerned about the cure. The important part in my work with my patients is I make them aware of the curative potential and power. And one can see virtually some people, or majority of people who die of their illness, I find they died prematurely. In other words, it was a suicide because they did not understand the process and they let themselves go thinking that they are dying and they will die and they die. Self-fulfilling prophecy. So even that is a suicide. It's like jumping out of the window, from the balcony. So if I make a prophecy that because I have cancer I'm going to die, that is suicide, no? But why? I have cancer, but that's my body, not me. And it can never have cancer. It is the body that can have, and therefore I'm master over body, spirit over body, mind over body. And this center, I teach these things. And I work with this type of work. So they asked me to give meditation every week once, or every 2 weeks. And I told them, I never meditated, but we can meditate. I know how what you meditate because Mother explained me what it is and how it should be. And she told me it was not necessary for me. And I really don't think, because my entire life is a meditation, even if I'm a rebel. I am a revolutionary. I'm not a master. I'm a revolutionary. I'm a rebel with a cause. But that's the way it is, and I'm satisfied with my life. I'm the happiest man on this earth. Even if you see tears in my eyes of emotion, I'm the happiest person, and I wish humanity could understand this.
Could we go back a little bit to
Sure.
your student days in the ashram? And perhaps you could share some reminiscences of the people who were special to you.
Very, very special to me were people like Nirodha, very special. And he had, this is also another thing, Nirodha, I had come with a very dear Italian friend, Guido Ciaccio, from Italy here with my wife. And I had introduced him to Nirodha and so on. And Nirodha had told him what Mother had told about me. So that was another reason those people adore me, because they know what Mother had said about me and so on. And with Nirodha, I had an immense, fantastic communication. And he used to hold once a week classes, in the sense in his room in the evening with with Manojda, 3-4 other people, Vishwabandhu, Manojda, I forget his other name. I don't think so, Bhatti came. But this was a very limited group, and he had asked me to come. So I would sit in and listen, and he would read from Mother's and Sri Aurobindo's works and so on, and explain things. But I used to be there for him. And that was a very, very beautiful relationship. Don't forget, Narad was a great soul, not only as a spirit and person and a human being, but also a great medical man. Nobody knew him as a doctor, but again, doctor is not only the one who cleans your wound and puts a bandage around it, or who prescribes you tablets. He was a doctor that did not need a tablet, but nobody knows Narad Patel in that aspect, but I knew. And yes, and he knew, and we had talks, and he had told me, my friend, he used to call me Madhusudan, and my friend, you know what you have to do, you do it just the way you know how, and don't worry about conventions. So Narad Patel was somebody very, very precious, very close. There was also Ravindraji that I loved very dearly. I was very attached to Dada, and he meant a lot to me as an older brother or elder brother. Dada means elder brother. And then there are people who are not much older than me, only a couple of years older than me, like Bhattida, you know,
Yes.
Prabhakar. He's a very wise person. And I, who don't like reading and don't want to know too much, everything I know about Indian mythology and things of that sort came through stories that Bhattida tells me when I come for my visits and so on, and even in those days and so on. So he doesn't speak a lot. He can write beautifully. If you see his handwriting, it's like painting. Prabhakar, yeah, you ask him to show him something he's written, he writes. And he writes interesting
He's
things.
just agreed to do a series with me on his articles among the not so great.
Yes. You see, that is one of his works, and there's so much humor in it.
Yes.
And so what he doesn't speak and say and show is inside. But when he then explains you things, it is absolutely divine. And I get enchanted when I'm told these stories because I see the truth, the divine truth behind mythology. What does it all mean? What was, for instance, this battle of Kurukshetra, you know, where Arjuna then doesn't have the strength to shoot the first arrow at his own cousins, his brothers, and Sri Krishna gives him the lecture, and that is the Vedas. And when I was explained this, it opened up so much in my work, what I'm doing and so on, why it is so important that at times you have to take very radical, categorical decisions in life. And even if that is morally, perhaps they'll say, oh, but that, how can you take such a decision and so on? But yes, where it's wrong and right, you have to be on the divine side. So Bhattida is a very, very important person, very interesting.
Oh, this is so helpful to me.
Yes,
to know this.
He has immense wisdom. He's behind that smile of his and his quietness, there is a lot more. So poke him and provoke him. And he's very tolerant, so he's very nice. So we laugh a lot and we joke, and I meet him every day for breakfast. Yeah, I go there. Today I told him I have to go for that. I don't know what it is. It's a video interview, and I don't even know why they want to do it, but I'll go. And so I came, and I didn't go there.
Did he tell you that he did one with me already?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he told me.
Very fun.
And so these are the people that had great meaning to me. Manoj Da, he's one of the trustees. Manoj Da, you know him, Manoj?
Dasgupta.
Yes, Manoj
Yes.
Dasgupta.
Yes, of
Yeah.
course, of course.
These are for me my brothers and my sisters that I adore and from whom I can learn. But now he says to me, "You're teaching me." He has read things of me and he says, "Mother, this is fantastic," and I would have loved to work with him in the school and so on. But we'll see. I made a couple of attempts to come, and he said, "You come and you can teach you so," but I have to stick to what Mother said. And she said, "One day you'll come, but you have to do your work for mankind, for the universe." So these are people that have great meaning. Ravindraji was a wonderful person that was very close to me. And then there are other people that I admired a lot. Nolinida.
Oh,
These are great sannyasis.
did you know Temi?
Yes. Temi Ben was my favorite teacher
I see.
because she, I think Temi Ben saw my philosophical aspect, my poetical or my romantic aspects also in me about the language and all that. And she was very tolerant and she was very, 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 very wonderful. Temi Ben was a very nice person. Not only nice, but these are great sannyasis. These are great yogis. These people are though. Why are you interviewing me? You should be interviewing all those people. I'm just a rebel. I don't belong.
We have interviewed almost 200 so far.
My goodness, so that's good.
Yes.
I hope in those 200, some of these people are included.
Well, you see, Noran Singh was 92 when we interviewed him.
Oh,
Robi Ganguly, after we did 4 interviews, he passed away. So we've been able to save many of these.
I'm very glad. We're very close to Robida, even more to Sunilda, which was related.
You were?
Yes, Sunilda was our science
Please
teacher.
tell us about it.
Sunilda was the man of science and a great man of music, and I love music. And I think if you gave him an instrument, I'm sure he could play any instrument you gave him, even if he did not know. And he's a born musician, but also a man of science, which in neurology we know that not everybody has. Most people are either very logical, rational, and so on. They have a left hemisphere that's very strong, where the logic and rationale comes from. And then the artists are those who have a right hemisphere that's very strong for music, for painting, and so on. Because if you get a stroke in your left hemisphere and it's paralyzed, you won't be able to speak, you won't be able to read, you won't be able to even add 2 plus 2 because it comes from the left hemisphere. But if you're a musician, you can still play with your left hand your piano because music comes from the right side. And when the left brain is paralyzed or damaged, the right side of the body is controlled by the left hemisphere, so the right side becomes paralyzed. And the opposite. And I was lucky to find out that I have both my hemispheres equally balanced. That's why I can studied science, medicine, this and that. And I'm very musical. I love playing the piano, and I love to sing, and I love to whistle. I used to play the harmonica. And so Sunilda, I loved him because of his music. I didn't have much attraction for Indian music. I don't know why. Perhaps the mother had infiltrated in me the love for Bach and Beethoven and Chopin and Mozart. And do you speak any Italian? Do you understand Italian? Anyone
Very
of you?
little.
Very little.
Very
Too bad.
little,
No, because
yeah.
I have done a CD with 2 visualizations, 2 meditations with visualization. And you know that meditation is not just blank mind. That's when you have reached a very high state, you can do that. But then I also wonder why. But if you visualize your meditations, they are far more powerful, especially in the field of medicine. It does wonders. So you can come to me with high blood pressure, and in one session I can show you can reduce your blood pressure to absolute normal rates by doing certain visualization techniques, and these are called visualized meditations with music. And I talked about that because I've used music from various authors that Mother had, Grieg and Chopin and so on. So I speak on those visualizations, but it's accompanied with music, so it enhances the process, the music. And the 2 hemispheres of Sunilda, of left and right, were both well evolved. Both were strong. He was a man of science, but he was a man of art and music. And he too, always smiling and love. He was love also.
Were you in knowledge then, or was knowledge?
Knowledge, no, because
Not at that time.
Not at that time. No, I left much
But
earlier.
you knew Jugal?
Yes, Juvalda. Is he still around? Or he passed away?
Yes.
Oh, I see. I'm sorry. See, I'm not much in touch either. I don't write so much to people here. I don't phone, and my contact is as well with the mother. The mother had said that she'll always be there. When I need her, I have just to call and she'll come. Because when I told her that I feel that everybody else is more privileged because they are here and I have to study abroad, away from her. And she said to me, my child, you don't have to be here for me to be with you. I'm always with you. I was always with you. I am always with you. I will always be with you. Whenever you come. Whenever you come on earth. You call and I'll be there. And to make you understand, perhaps on the video, that here, these are not just beliefs or words of the mother. Here's an example. When I first left, I was a guest of a German couple, the Karnash. Eckhart Karnash.
Oh, I know him very well.
And Dad invited me to their home for a few days, and I stayed there. So I had my room, and I was sort of contemplating what you others might call meditating or whatever, just thinking of the mother, and I was there, and I was with her. In other words, I was with the mother. Somebody knocks on the door, and it was Mrs. Karnash. So I said yes. She opened the door, and she says, Madhusudan, come, dinner is ready. So I went to the dinner table. Both of them were sitting there. I was sitting at the head of the table. Then she says to me, before we start, can I ask you, please, a curious question? It is a little indiscreet, but I'd appreciate. I said, sure, there is nothing that I consider indiscreet. She says, when I knocked and opened the door, what were you doing in your room? I said, I was contemplating. I said meditating because they will not understand what I do, because I can't even explain what I do. I said, why? She says, I opened the door and I felt absolutely strongly that Mother was there with you.
This is Theodora.
Yeah, Theodora.
My goodness.
She says, I opened the door and I concretely felt that the Mother was with you. That you were with the Mother and the Mother was there with you. And then I just saw you coming. And I smiled. But wait a second. She could also be hallucinating. A few days later, I received a letter from the mother, dated that for that particular date, saying a number of things that she had written, saying, and my child, I was with you, and I'm with you. I've experienced the mother several times, and I use mother's help for helping her children who are ill, patients. All these patients abroad, they're not ashramites, but they are mothers and Aurobindo's children. And they need them. And so they don't even know them, perhaps. But I don't see why I should talk to people about Mother and Aurobindo if they don't ask me, if they're not interested and so on, and it's not important. But if I give them Mother and Aurobindo through frequencies, energy, as Mother said, through occult energy, then they benefit and they open their eyes and they change totally in their lifestyle too. Without my having preached them to be good or bad, I don't believe in good or bad. In the field of energy, there is no dualism. There is no white on black. I'm talking of the energies that we use, the divine energies. You can use them for whatever purposes you want. Fire is an energy. I can use it to cook my meal. I can use it to heat my house, but I can also use it to destroy properties by laying fire. It's not the fault of the fire. It's how I use it. And so, occult energies, when used, you transform them and you apply them for the divine purpose. And sure, there are anti-divine energies, because they're anti-divine people, but then you neutralize them. The power of the divine is supreme. The Pandavas defeated the Kauravas that were far, far larger in size. But why? because the truth always wins, the divine wins. These things I learned from Bhatti, this Kurukshetra, scene of Kurukshetra or something, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was Bhatti who told me. So mother is fantastic, and you have the proof that these things, if you know how to do it, and if you... So don't be offended that if I don't preach Mother and Aurobindo, if I don't teach Mother and Aurobindo, if I don't read their books, it's not because I don't believe in them, but it's a different way that I am with them, or they are with me.
And you feel, may I ask you this, is there any difference when you knew the physical mother and now that she is no longer tied to the body?
I'll tell you the truth. Based on what I've experienced with her, there is no difference in terms of love and energy. But I am a sentimental mush. I like to be sentimental. I want to be human. I don't want to be divine. I don't want to be them. And I'm like a child. I want to hold on to her also physically. So it would be wrong to say, no, I don't miss her. And you can see already tears in my eyes, because when you've been so close to your mother, and she gave you everything, and she created a paradise on this earth, then you miss her also physically. Yes. But I'm sincere, in all sincerity, to her, that there is no difference, whether you have known her physically or not. If you understand who Mother is, and if you just love, even if you don't understand, if you just love and say, Shrima, I love you, you will feel something incredible. Just repeating. I tell my patients, I create mantras for them that's simple. So when I'm calming them, I say, shut your eyes, breathe deeply, so that they don't think too much. You have to give them mantras, but at the same time, it helps them. Look, this is the science of neurology, that if you know how to apply it, you can use it. When you use mantras, what happens? You're creating energy. You're evoking energy. For instance, Shrima taught me this mantra. She says, Om Namo Shrima Trumira Shri Aurobindo Sharanam Mama. Beautiful mantra. You repeat it, and you feel this energy. But what happens? What else is there? Something very important. The thing that works against all good and bad energies is your mind. It's all the time thinking. A human being, on the average, has 55,000 thoughts a day. And every single thought is an energy. It starts between the ears, the frequencies. And most of these thoughts are redundant. That means they produce negative effects, because you're worried about your bank account, you're worried about if you're on time for the ashram dining room closing. These are thoughts that are coming simultaneously while you're doing one thing. But when you're repeating a mantra, you're concentrated on the words of the mantra to repeat them. So if you give a patient a very simple mantra, without talking about mantra, say, hey, repeat while you're breathing deeply. Breathe in, breathe out, and repeat in your head, I feel so good. I feel so protected. I feel so good within my own body. And I feel everything is secure. Or repeat, I love, I love, I love. And think of the person that you love, her smile, the mother's smile, Aurobindo's smile, or the man or woman that you love. And it takes away the thoughts from the illness, the therapy and everything, and he's in a state where there is now possibility for me to transmit much more healing energy. And when Mother said, your hands are for healing, the patients who virtually take my hand and put it on their body. Pancreatic cancer is one of the most painful cancers. And when a pancreatic cancer patient takes my hands and puts it on him and he says, please, because when you put your hand there, I have a relief for hours without taking medication. Now, and they think that I'm doing miracle, and I tell them, no, I am not doing any miracle. You are doing the miracle because you are getting in contact with yourself. You are now not just the body, but you are the soul managing the body, administrating and keeping the body under control. And so you're the master. And so you are not suffering. As a master, when you're the spirit, you are omnipotent, omniscient, and omnipresent. You know everything, you can do everything, and you can be everywhere at the same time by being here. So these are things that Mother explained to me. These are things that I apply now in psychoneuroendocrinology. It's unbelievable what you can do with it. And this is the idea of Mother and Aurobindo. So if you ask me, is there any difference now that Mother is physically not here? And to me the only difference is my sentimental mush or my romantic thing. And I like to be human. I want to cry. I want to hold her. So I also complain, I also fight with them. You know? They've made me omnipotent, omnipresent, but I want them.
There's a beautiful poem that A.E. has written about that very thing, that when he throws an insult at God, he's talking to an angel, and he says, don't be so proudful, angel, because he says, when, I only remember the last line, rest the lips of the unknown tenderest upon my brow.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I think they give us that right.
Yes. I'm sorry, I use perhaps the wrong words when I say go to hell. It's not this hell. I said, leave me alone. That's having studied in America, habit of speaking like Americans, go to hell. No. I said, leave me in peace. I don't care. I don't want to know. Stay away. Shut up. But they are there. Immune to my insults and my screams, immune to my rage, but they answer. And when I'm angry and I ask questions and so on, Mother used to say, sois patient, mon fils. Be patient, my child. Et avec le temps, tu vas comprendre. Parce que tu as en toi tout ce que tu as besoin de savoir. You have in you everything that you need to know. And this is for everyone the same. And I give everybody the same right, the same potential, the same possibility to be master over themselves. Because she and Aurobindo have confirmed to me that they live not there, but here. Because if they were there, I know I can go and find her and I can grab her. But I gave a conference in Dallas, and at lunch, all the prestigious people were there, and there were two astronauts, I forget their names, who were also invited to be there. And they were sitting across the table, and I asked them, hey, you guys, when you went out in space, did you see by any chance anybody? They looked at me. They knew that there was something crazy I'm joking. So what do you mean, Madhusudan? I said, didn't you see somebody with a beard and long hair who might look like Aurobindo or like Jesus Christ? And they started laughing. I didn't say Aurobindo because they don't know perhaps, but Jesus Christ, everybody knows. And they started laughing and they said, Madhu, you're kidding? I said, no. I just want to make sure. Just want to make sure. I'm a man of science. I want to make sure that they are not up there. Because if he's here, how can he be up there?
There was a photo many years ago in the Hindu, I believe, and I happened to see it. And one of the astronauts was going around, and they saw one beam of light, and it was directly on Pondicherry.
Unbelievable.
I've not been able to find anyone who knows that.
I don't know. I've not seen
photo.
that. But these are marvels. These are miracles, and miracles do exist.
Yes.
And I've experienced miracles in my life, and I have seen miracles with our patients who are condemned to die, and they, with their grace, have made it, and it's beautiful. Hey, this life is for fun. The only mission, I think Dalai Lama said, the only reason of life is to be happy. So I have achieved. The only reason I'm still living is that they want me to continue this mission. Grazie.